Hey everybody, it's Frank over at Frank's Tanks in Fort Worth, Texas. And today I'm going to be testing the water parameters on one of my tanks over here just to my right. And I will be using elos test kits. The reason that I use elos is because I've always used them, and quite frankly, this is a plug for elos. They've been responsible for some of my success. And I mean, they actually work. They actually work very well. They're easy to use, and they're pretty doggone accurate. So first thing, elos on their calcium test kit, which is what we're going to do first. I'm going to take some water from the tank that I'm going to perform the test on, and on their calcium they ask for 5 milliliters of water. So you can clearly see I'm putting 5 milliliters of water in, and the calcium has a reagent A. It's got a B, a C, and a D. I don't use the I personally don't use the D because A, B, and C will get me close enough to the results that I need. You can dial them in a little bit closer if you want to, if it really matters to you, but sorry, I don't use that one. So on reagent A, you want to drop 7 drops in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to shake that thing up really good. So you can see there. Then it calls for a scoop of reagent B. Now on this scoop, it has 2 different sizes, but it's a smaller size that you'll use. And it calls for one of those. It's a little powder form. And you shake that up. There we go. And that thing will turn kind of pink. And then C, we'll count these drop by drop until this turns purple. And that will kind of help us figure out our calcium level. So here we go. Here's drop 1. Drop 2, drop 3, drop 4. Give it a little shake after each drop. Drop 5, and you see it's trying to turn colors. Drop 6, and it's going purple now. I always add another drop just to see if it's going to make any changes, and it didn't. So 6 is the actual count. Now to get your calcium numbers on this elos test kit, you multiply the number of drops that you got from the pink shade to this blue shade. You multiply that by 50, and that's your magnesium. Clearly this is too low for this tank. That means my calcium, my calcium level in that tank is 300, and that's far off of what I target. So my target for calcium in any of my reef tanks is 450. The ocean ranges between 380 and 420, but I target 450, hoping that if I fall a little bit low, I'll still be somewhere at ocean level. So this is a bad thing for me, and I'll calculate what I need to bring it to where it should be. In fact, the reason I'm doing this test right now is because I knew something was going on in that tank with all those hard corals. Nothing super bad, but it certainly, there's some things going on, and I figured that there were going to be some issues between the calcium alkalinity and the magnesium. You can clearly see that calcium is at 300, and nobody's trying to keep a reef with 300 parts. And now we're going to do our alkalinity. I don't have the box, but this is the alkalinity test for elos. And again, we're going to take one of their little glass vials, and we're going to get 5 milliliters again out of this tank. And this is really simple. With the elos, well, again, you count the drops. I'm going to go ahead and let some of those drops fall off, and then we'll count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see this thing is starting to turn a little bit blue, but by the time you get to the part that you do your multiplication to get the actual alkalinity, this will go from this blue color to a yellow color. So I believe that was 6. I hope I'm right. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, I'm already getting to that color. So I'm at 11, and what you do, I'm going to put in another drop, see if anything changes. I don't think that it's going to, so it's going to make the number that I'm going to use 11, and you can divide it by 2. In this case, if I get 11 drops, my alkalinity is going to be 5.5, and that really, really sucks. So everything is wrong with my tanks. And we're going to do magnesium next. But you can see the elos test kits are really, really simple. So I only have 2 vials. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take these 2 vials and I'm going to rinse them out in the sink. And I'll show you something very important. I don't even believe it has it in the instructions, but something that's very, very important when you're rinsing these vials to use for the next test. I'll show you something about that in just a second. So the thing that I was wanting to show you is that you see I just rinsed those out, and on magnesium we're only going to be using 3 milliliters of water. So what I always do is I dry these things off really good, both on the inside and out, and that's whether you're using you're doing a 3 milliliter test or a 5 milliliter test, because when you're using such a small amount of water to perform a test, you got to figure that even small, what appears to be insignificant amounts will have an effect on your test. So I rinse those things out if I've used them before, and then I make sure that I dry them out very well. Now when you buy an elos magnesium test, it only comes with one of these glass vials. So I have 2 of them so that I can show you how this works. The elos test kit is actually a 2-part. It's a 2-part test. So I'm going to take 3 milliliters of water and I'm going to put it in each one. So it is a 2-part test, and each part requires you to use 3 milliliters of water. So there's my 3 milliliters in each one of those. So I'm going to take the magnesium, and the magnesium test kit actually has 4 parts too. There's an A, a B, and there's a C, which is a powder form, and then there's a D. And I'm showing you these in the wrong order, but there's an A, B, C, and a D. So the first thing you want to do, you're going to take reagent A, and you're going to count. And in most cases, this is going to be a pretty large count. And here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see it's starting to turn an orange color, but the end color here is going to be green. So we'll continue. There's 6, 7, 25, 26, 27. Just keep watching it. It's going to turn green. 28, 29, 30, 31. There it goes. 32. So 32, I'm going to add one more drop just to make sure it doesn't change. And it doesn't, so I'm going to use the number 32. So basically, when I do this, I'll take this 32, I'll multiply it by 100, and I end up with 3,200. So I'm going to record 3,200. Now, since you only get one vial when you buy a test kit, this is the time when you would normally pour this one out rinse it, and then dry it out. But since I have 2, I'm going to go directly to step number 2. So say that you've taken this, you've dumped it, and you've rinsed it out real well. Now you're going to valve number 2. So you put 3 more milliliters of water in, and we'll put in 5 drops of reagent B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll give it a little bit of a shake. And you remember that little spoon with the 2 ends? Well, we're going to use that again. And magnesium has its own little powder too. I don't know that it's not the same as the calcium, but they label the one for calcium for calcium and the one for magnesium for magnesium. So that's what I use. And again, you pour in a little scoop, a small scoop of that, and we're going to shake it again. That was reagent C. And it turns pink. Now the second time, well, when we use reagent D here, you see that it's pink. The second time you start counting, you won't count as high as the first time. First time we counted 32, remember that. And so you're actually going to subtract the count that you get here from the 3,200. So here's what we do. 1, 2, 3, this should turn purple. 4, 5. Oh, there we go. We're starting to turn there. Let's see. 6. There was a slight change, so we're going to use 6. I don't think it's going to change again, but I will add that extra drop. 7. So it's 6. So I multiply this 6 by 100 also, and we come up with 600. Now we're going to subtract that 600 from the 3,200, and we're going to come up with 2,600. Then you divide that by 2, and you know that your magnesium is 1,300. So again, on the first one, we counted 32 drops, and we multiplied that by 100 to get 3,200. Then, after we added 5 drops of reagent B, a little scoop of the powder reagent C, and then counted reagent D to 6, we also multiply that by 100, and it comes out to 600. So what we did then is we take the 3,200 here, and we subtract the 600 from it to get 2,600. And when we divide that by 2, that's how we get our magnesium numbers. And it's clearly, this is 1,300. So, of course, the 2,600 divided by 2 is 1,300. And that's what we got for magnesium. Now, my magnesium, we do target 1,450. And again, the reason that I do that, the ocean is 1,350. I target 1,450 just in case my levels fall low, that they're at least at ocean levels, which is clearly not the case here. And to be totally honest with you, I've been a little negligent out here, and I need to get on the ball. So, showing you how to use elos, calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. I hope this helps you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so very much for watching. Take care.